You have tuned into the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Holio. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Holio. First episode of Season 3. Welcome back. We are so happy to be here. Going on 3 seasons now. Beginning of preseason, we're going to be trying to do our beginning show. So, lucky you, we start off with the Hall of Fame. As this past weekend, quarterback Drew Brees, former San Diego Charger and New Orleans Saint. Let's be honest, he's more known for New Orleans. Former second-round pick, started his career in San Diego, where he ended up having a major shoulder injury that made question marks when it came to free agency. They had already done the trade with Eli Manning as the former first-round overall pick to get Phillip Rivers. So you had Drew Brees sitting there. What does New Orleans come? Go and scoop up that quarterback and end up turning him into a legendary quarterback in his own. Let's not forget, Sean Payton's system had a big deal to do with that as well. It wasn't just the quarterback. That team was stacked head to toe with as much talent that people didn't think they would have done it, but they surprised everyone. Hell, they had former 7th-round pick Marcus Colston leading that charge. Moving into it, though, as the top 5 passing categories leader, even at the time of his retirement, he was top 2 to 3. Drew Brees has now carved himself into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the quarterback. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald. Not much else can be said other than consistency. The man barely missed any time. He was a long time, his entire career, with the Arizona Cardinals. Honestly, he just deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Humble as hell. The numbers don't lie. Did he win any Super Bowls? No, but man, did they have a hell of a run in 2009 when Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, led the Cardinals, and with wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald in the dying minutes of the fourth quarter in that Super Bowl. They could have come away with the win, but Big Ben and Antonio Brown had other plans as they went down, drove, scored, and the rest is history. But hey, doesn't mean that you can't make the Hall of Fame. If you're going to model your wide receiver after someone, Larry is one of those guys. Just humble all around, great personality, great for the community. He's the kind of player that you wanted on your team. Everyone strives for those certain players. He's one of them. Legendary kicker Adam Vinatieri finally gets his due in the Hall of Fame. The multiple Super Bowl champion with not just the New England Patriots, but the Indianapolis Colts, got inducted this last weekend as well, with many in the audience to help oblige him. One of the highlights I found, though, that I came across was when he made the joke to Pat McAfee, the former punter and holder for Vinatieri, when he was with the Colts, as being the only other person he would ever trust to grope his own balls. Fuck. Linebacker Luke Kuechly, at the age of 35, is in the Hall of Fame. Career cut short due to injury, but at the time of his 7-year tenure, this man was not just a multi, but pretty much a consistent year in, year out, all-pro linebacker. He played outside linebacker. He played middle linebacker. Hell, I'm pretty sure he played safety when they were down guys and they had to rotate someone up to the top. Why? Because he was the force down the middle for that Panthers defense. In fact, it's not like he didn't go without. They tasted a Super Bowl once, didn't win it against the Broncos, but they came close in what was Cam Newton's only MVP season. But still, honestly though, the fact that you got inducted as a 35-year-old, I think this was his first time inductee too, shows the level and caliber of football IQ and the talent that you brought to the field, not to mention just the humble person he is off the field. Running back Roger Craig of the San Francisco 49ers, former also a Raider and Minnesota Viking, got inducted this weekend in the veterans category as far as here's the thing. Not everyone gets inducted year in, year out. Some years you'll have 8 inductees. Some years you'll have 4. This year we had 5. Every year is different based on how they're looking at the overall spectrum and who they let in. But honestly, though, I think it's a pretty goddamn crying shame that a man like, I think it was Bill Belichick, got denied. Because I think coaches only have to be out a year in order to be eligible, if I'm not mistaken, former head coaches. The only 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach in history got denied in the spring his opportunity to go and join the Hall of Fame. But you know what? Screw him. Screw him and pooch him. You're going to move on and do great things still as he's leading the university down there. All right, let's move on to our news and notes as we get into the Hall of Fame game, which hosted the Carolina Panthers, Luke Kuechly, and the Arizona Cardinals, Larry Fitzgerald, in the Hall of Fame preseason game, in which was a back-and-forth contest, actually, which was really nice. It was great to see football back, even if it's preseason action. It was score for score, and until the very final, I think 2 seconds or so, Carolina punched it up the middle to take the final of 33-30 in that game. Moving along into some re-signings, you got Hunter Henry re-upping for 2 years at $16 million. The tight end, 31-year-old, has been a nice staple for the Patriots in consistency. When you need someone to knock it down to, he's usually there and open on all of his little curl routes and little out routes and all that other fun stuff. So Henry's not maybe necessarily the most athletic compared to other tight ends in the league, but he's kind of in that medium where he's athletic enough, he can make those plays, and he's a decent blocker too. So not quite like a Rob Gronkowski, but hey, you can't get a legendary tight end every time. You have Stephon Diggs signing a 1-year, $12 million contract with the Washington Commanders. The free agent veteran wide receiver was touting about who's a better number 2 than me, who considers himself a number 1, which really he can be. He was in New England last year, and it's not like he had horrible numbers. The guy still went over almost 100 catches, close to, and over 1,000 yards, though. He only had 4 touchdown catches, but he came up in clutch third down catch. Overall, I think this is a great signing. We all know the Brandon Ayuk. Honestly, we're going to touch base a little bit on that because there's a great story that was brought to me by my buddy Mark, and he basically, in the article that it came about, it more or less states he doesn't cost us anything against the cap because he's on that NIR, not willing to return, or whatever the hell it is, non-active football list. Ayuk can sit there for the next 3 years until his contract expires, and it would not cost a roster spot for the 49ers, not cost anything against the cap, because if they don't release him, they're not going to get screwed against the cap. But they're already out of having to pay him because they're able to nullify his agreement based on the way he acted last year, and because of the writing in his contract, it voided the shit. So, and not let's forget all the bullshit he's done on social media to literally irritate the Commanders to the point that they're like, nah, fuck this. So they went and signed, honestly, good pickup. Stephon Diggs will be great for developing Jaden Daniels. Bijan Robinson got an extension as he still had 2 years left on his current rookie deal. 3 years, $75 million, brings him all the way to, I think, the 2030 season is what it equals out to. He will be a Falcon for a while. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, 2-year, $44 million contract extension as he was entering the final year of his second previous NFL contract extension that he signed. You have Bills right guard, to be more specific, Osiris Torrance, as he agrees to a 4-year, $78.4 million extension. Man, let's not forget about the Zay Flowers signing a 4-year, $140 million contract extension as well in the previous week. But hey, bad news on him, though. over the course of literally like days after signing that extension. He's dealing with a quad injury that made him miss practice the other day. It's an alien ailment that may or may not hurt him in the coming season. Sources are yet to say as the severity of it. As he had struck into safety Jalen Hendricks in practice, that's what caused all this donkey. You have the, you know what, let's just continue a little bit on preseason. Raiders quarterback Kirk Cousins and defensive end Max Crosby, two of their stars, got head-to-head the other day in practice as Cousins went to do a pass. It got deflected and batted down. Excuse me. Ow. Got batted down by Crosby. And this led to an altercation where the quarterback went right up in his face, which, let's be honest, Max Crosby has 3 inches and 50 pounds on Cousins. He was ready to wipe the floors, but they settled it. They got back to it. They made up. They kissed, whatever. They got suspended from the next day's practice. So Mendoza got a little bit extra playing time practice and the backup as well at the defensive end position. No, we don't know their name. We could probably look it up, but we ain't too concerned about it. All right, moving along. You have Titans also re-signing a stalwart of theirs. Stuart Still. Sorry, just had to read that for a second. Stuart Still, who had 2 years left on his deal, gets a $100 million extension, literally making this a 6-year deal at the end of it, keeping the 25-year-old in the Titans uniform at the guard position for them for the foreseeable future. Honestly, the Titans have done really well this offseason, addressing and locking up their young talent, especially while they try and develop quarterback Cam Ward. And honestly, they're looking on the up and up. If I was a Titans fan, this year might be a bit rebuilding, but you're not probably too far off if Robert Saleh has the system he wants in place for you. Running back Chase Brown is also seeking a contract extension as he enters the last year of his rookie deal. He looks to, and this was in an article I came across that kind of made me get thinking a little bit, is he worthy of the new quarterback market? Because let's not also forget, Jamari Gibbs also signed a 3-year contract extension for $75.75. That's what it's worth up to. $1 million extension to go on top of his current 2 years left he has on his current deal. It is $67.75 million. The incentives jump it up another 10 if he reaches those milestones. Right now, the quarterback market is somewhere between 22 and 25 million for your good star, reliable running backs in the league. That's what it's come down to. You got Saquon Barkley, you got James Cook, they got paid last year. You have Bijan Robinson, you got Jamari Gibbs. Hell, you got Jonathan Taylor getting signed up this year, right? Does Chase Brown belong in that category? Now, yes, he does have receptions. He has over 127, I believe, in the last 2 seasons. He can run the ball very aggressively. I've seen up the middle, out the side. He is a good all-around back. Longevity-wise is my concern. The running back has faced some injuries over the course of his 3-year tenure with the Bengals, and honestly, with $16 million in cap left currently, now going forward, more money is seeming to be allocated in the next few years as the salary cap is expected to jump significantly for the NFL. But do you pay him the equivalent of that of like your other starters on the team? I know the running back's position has become either a committee by running back or you still have your stars. And we're seeing those stars. But the wear and tear on the running back position, I don't know if Connor Brown, Chase Brown, not Connor, Chase Brown can necessarily be that with his already injury stubble in his rearview mirror. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time that the Bengals have let a running back contract run out near the end. They did it with Joe Mixon, and then he went to the Texans the year after. But let's be honest, though, he was also nearing the end, as he's more or less out of the league at this point, as he did not play last year due to his ankle injuries that he has dealt with. Oh, man. What a good week of football. Oh, Luther Burden. He will be out the rest of the preseason, but any Bears fans out there, don't worry, he should be back and expected for week 1. He's dealing with a suffered groin, so hopefully he doesn't stretch that too horribly while he is recovering. And speaking of contract extensions, this is a bad one for the goddamn Commanders. Laramie Tunsil, the all-pro left tackle, who they signed to a 2-year extension at $60 million. They're paying this tackle $30 million to protect the blind side of Jaden Daniels, and he is injured significantly as he is dealing with torn triceps. And if you do the research to the torn triceps, general recovery for an athlete like him is about 4 to 5 months. Sometimes they say about 5 to 7 months, depending on the severity. Now, if that's the case, you do the time frame from now till late season, he might be able to come back week 14, week 13, maybe the last 4 weeks of the season. That's a huge blow for a team that's entering year 3 after trying to rebound from a previous Eastern or NFC Championship appearance. It's not looking good for the side to protect Mr. Jaden Daniels for the upcoming season. Cardinals, speaking of Larry Fitzgerald, sorry we didn't mention this before, they are expected to retire his number 11 jersey into their retired jerseys this upcoming season as they face the Denver Broncos in that home game. Oh, you know what? We'll finish off with our final news note that we got as we jumped around our stuff today, and it's ties right in with Laramie Tunsil and injuries. So unfortunately this man is out for the season, but he was viewed very highly by the Atlanta Falcons defense to have a breakout year, as he was expected to have even more snaps and more productivity. But former first-round pick, 15th overall, Jalon Walker is officially out for the year. He suffers a torn ACL from at practice. The man had 26 pressures with 5.5 sacks on the quarterback last year. Let's not forget to mention his just constant pressure that came in there as well. Like, he was taking some double teams at times. The defensive end, we wish you well. Get back quick. Hopefully you can recover quick as you're in the early stages of your career. But he played 50% plus snaps for this Falcons defense, who was greatly improved last year from the year prior. Now, that's just too bad. But hey, every team deals with injuries, and every team's going to have to deal with it coming up this regular season. But that's it. That's all. This has been the Bear Down Corner. I'm Sergeant Holio. Catch us live every Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock General Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, anywhere you get your podcasts, here on Spotify, and, of course, on YouTube. Be safe, take care, and we'll catch you here next week on the Bear Down Corner.